on a much smaller shot, so the pixels are spread apart. That's why you're getting the blurring. But you can definitely see you can see the separation of the fingers here, and then you see it's like there's still a canyon here, but then it gets lumped into a solid form. And then that sort of strange curvature right here. And if you're wondering if it's just a matter of focus, well, you can still see the edge of the bathtub. I mean, it is slightly blurred because like I said, the pixels are spread apart from zooming in on a much smaller scene, but you can still make out the edge of the bathtub. And the texture looks like maybe holes in it. And you can still make out the general shape of the hand. See, when you go like this, despite, a careful observation shows that it's something a little funky, but still, on an initial glance, this looks like a normal hand. In focus enough to see that it's a normal hand. You can see knuckles, you can see the individual fingers, and you can see that it's gripping the side of the bathtub. So then how come in the next frame, which also, all of this is not out of focus, but this appears to be welded together. And this has a strange lump shape to it. And if this is the end of his finger, where's the fingernail? And it just looks, altogether it looks strange. It doesn't look like a human being. And that's because I don't think it is. Like some sort of flesh welding into a lump of some kind. Here you'll notice that his hands also start shape-shifting quite a bit with these lumps. It's hard to say what we're actually looking at, but you see these odd lumps that are obviously not in the hands that you're going to see most of the time, like if you run into Harrison or you see him in a talk show or something like that, or obviously in well-lit scenes where there's enough light on his hands, and you'll get these lumps, and at the end looks like a claw of some kind, or maybe a nail, and in the dark, you could say that that's just the finger disappearing into the darkness, but you can see that there's definitely a sharp point on the end. And you can see many of these little nodules and surfaces that are quite strange. As you look at it more closely, you'll see these little shapes like craters and holes. And then this, it looks like all of his fingers weld together, all of the main fingers besides his thumb. And it's really quite strange, like they all weld together suddenly. So it's weird, what could we be looking at? Why would it do that? Is that, somehow he's halfway shape-shifting into his reptilian form. And I go a little bit faster here, so kind of more comprehensive, you can see. Remember that these changes are only frame by frame, so you will not notice this just looking at it for the most part, because if the changes are a single frame, that's faster than the human eye and mind can perceive. Another mysterious shapeshift where it looks like his middle finger turns into a short, stubby thing with a claw, and you'll see that in just a second. It's like it sticks out, but it's like this little tiny, stubby thing. And then here in this next frame coming up, you'll see a little nail stick out. See, look at that little nail sticking out of there. It's really weird. I mean, it wasn't there a few frames ago. and then all of a sudden it's sticking out. That's probably the beginning of his real hand, or his reptilian form hand, you might say. And it's just kind of weird how his hand looks like some sort of claw, and then here at the very end it's like you can see the middle finger, a strange shape. You'll notice throughout Blade Runner, the dragon symbol is shown so many times. There shouldn't be any doubt as to who they want you to know made this movie. Okay, and here you'll notice Harrison's claws come out, and you'll notice here is sort of a strange shape to his finger, and you'll see there again the point finger. Look at how thin that is, and then look at that. And then look at her chest. Something a little strange there. Something comes out of her thumb there. Some of these things you don't notice, you just flip the frames one by one. Here in the Dangerous Days, which is the making of the film, Harrison's eyeball does a strange flip. I've seen this in a few other things. Also, if you look at his thumb there, notice the end. See, it looks almost like a frog or an amphibian of some kind. Okay, for this dark doorway scene, you gotta be sure and look at the work print, because they edited the reptilian footage out of the newer one with the post-editing, so you won't see the reptilian tiles. Here's the original scene. Can't see anything. Normal brightness will brighten it up and slow it down. Now, the thing to make clear is that he is in fact wearing an oxygen mask. That's not the issue. The issue is that his reptilian shape-shifting is coming right through the clear mask, and you can see the reptilian tiles on his face, but you can see the little blue respirator there. And so it is in fact a mask, but you don't see it so much in the original footage, which they had to do a lot of post-editing on, because the strap doesn't show up, because his flesh seems to grow over it, and the lumps cannot be attributed to motion or frame echo. And furthermore, in this forward shot, in this dark area right above his nose and mouth, you can see these lines that look like, here it is, see, it looks like tiles or something. See right here, you see these little lines there. It looks like a reptilian mouth, and it's a strange dark area. And you gotta ask yourself, does that look normal? I think it's a serpent.
Sorry. Listen, I'm gonna finish with Robin. You said that before?
See those lines on his mouth?
Right now.
Does that look like just an oxygen mask? And then where's the blue thing now for some reason? And this line is the I believe, the dividing line for his transforming face, even though it's the same line that the mask is on.
What the hell are they doing?
You see, the little blue thing that's part of the respirator is almost non-existent because the shape-shifting of the reptilian is obscuring it. And so what you're seeing is the tiles around its mouth. That's what you're seeing. I mean, see, there's no explanation for those bumps right there, other than reptilian shape-shifting. That's the mouth of the reptile. Come on, you're going to tell me that those lumps there are caused by an oxygen mask? See? It's not an oxygen mask altogether. What's happening, so that you're not confused, is that there is a respirator there, but apparently the shape-shifting is overwhelming it. And then you see the obvious. Now, if you compare this footage to the post-edited footage, you can see they edited out all those bumps, and it looks a lot cleaner, and you can see the strap. Okay, so here's a comparison of the American Theater and the work print. And I don't have it 100% lined up perfectly, but pretty close. But the distance from the camera to the TV is the same. And you'll notice that of course, it's a lot cleaner. They cleaned up the post-production quite a bit, but you'll notice the little blue thing there is quite a bit more visible. And on the work print, you'll notice not only do you not see the blue as much, but it's almost like it seems to disappear somewhat. But you can really see those tiles on the mouth there. You see that on the work print? And what you'll also notice too is that even in the cleaned up American Theater version, the mask that's supposed to be over his mouth doesn't make sense. Because it looks like it's cut off partially. But again, the smoking gun is the tiles that you start to see here, and you see this is the same frame. And you don't see that in the American Theater version, the one they cleaned up post-production. And you'll notice also the little blue thing is almost non-existent in the work print. Look at that. See, there's no blue thing. In fact, you hardly even see any blue. And yet you see pretty much everything else that's in the other one. And that's in the work print there, you'll see the tiles that really are the telltale. And I think what's happening in this case, as also the little blue thing seems to be so obscured, is that the shape-shifting is overtaking it so that you don't see that little blue thing as much. But you'll notice, see in the comparison with the American Theater version, you don't see those bumps, and that's another smoking gun. If this was a motion blur, and this frame-by-frame comparison, you would see those little bumps. But you don't see any little bumps in the American Theater version. If that was just a blur from the reflection, how come you don't see it in the American Theater version? So what happened is there was shape-shifting, it obscured part of the mask, and they cleaned it up in the final shot. Alright, now this is some startling shape-shifting footage here with this dancer chick. And here you'll see what looks like some sort of bone coming out. And it didn't seem to me as though that was an in-between frame. Could possibly be, but there's more going on here, as you'll see in a minute. Also, here's some of this strange dripping. Also, look at these muscles on her arm. It's almost like another form is coming through, and you don't notice this And look at this bump on her back. It's really quite interesting. It'll shrink down. You'll see kind of like a grid pattern. You see there for a second. That's gone. See? There it is. There it is. And then it's gone. And also her face, you'll notice, has a really weird shape too. But look at that bump.
Police are appealing for witnesses to the incident, which they believe may have been yet another road rage killing.
You'll see these anomalies on the face. You see that? Sort of things sticking out. It's kind of weird. Now look at this shape that you'll see on the leg. See that? It's like her flesh almost curls around. Take a look at this. It's like rivulating. It's warping. See, that's not a human muscle shape at all. I mean, there's nothing a human can do to make themselves look like that. And then here, the back splits open. This is really wild. You can see that along the edges there, it's like the flesh comes open for just a second. It's really weird, and you can also see, it's hard to see it in this shot, but these little vertebrae things in there. And here you get these lumps sticking out. Look at these bumps. And this arm is pretty interesting here. Same thing, you'll notice like part of the skeleton is coming out. Whatever it is. You see this form coming out here is not human. You see, this is not a normal muscle shape. If you look at it from the outside, you can see this isn't quite normal looking. And you can see it also here. Look at this arm. Look at these shapes here. Just look at this area here. You see like this ridge area. Then you see this shape here. Almost looks like the same bone shape that was coming out on the knee.
Yeah, that's right. He and my father worked together down south.
That was happening.
I do have a law degree.
Of course.
Look, it's going to take much longer.
I seen it before you came here. You used to have your own business.
Yeah, I started up a restaurant with a friend of mine.
Very beginning. Did you do well?
Okay, and then here,
That's just.
We thought so.
you get this lump coming out of her back.
You find me
And
attractive?
in the halfway shot where that lump is smaller, you can see these vertebra-like shapes.
Oh, you're a happily married man.
Yeah, that's right.
You have a
So
young
you'll notice it has 3
My
stages.
wife looks after the kids.
Oh, so you're not a new man?
That's the fully extruded stage. And there's the vertebra shape. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. And you'll also notice the base. Let's get that. You can see these sort of get some moire effect from the TV, but you can see this. You can see these shapes here. These like a vertebra sort of shape. See, it looks like bone segments. Zoom out so you can see it a little bit better. So you see, and what's interesting too is that is supposedly the leotard that she's wearing. See, it's all that's supposed to be all covering her entire back. So that leads me to believe, and I've seen from other examples too, that the shape shifting goes right through clothing, almost like the clothing doesn't exist. Notice also her face in this far shot. Look at this shape here. You see these, almost looks like a skeletal face. These strange shapes here. See, altogether, when you look at it, there's something not quite normal about it. just watch this thing coming out of her back. Look at that lump. There it goes to the vertebra shape. And the next frame it completely disappears again. But look at the face. Also, if you'll notice too, there's this shape right here. It's kind of strange, and the face is unrecognizable. There's a dark area here. And see, this looks like maybe this is the reptoid mouth. This is the mouth of the reptoid. See, because the face is turned towards us, and so you should see the nose, you should see a more recognizable shape here, but it looks strange. You see, this line here indicates some sort of hard shape here besides the jaw, and then you get like these strange lips-like. So whatever it is, it just pops right out of the material that's supposed to be the leotard.
When you try to say it might be Billy's fault.
It's really quite weird. And then also in this facial shot here in the front, I noticed that there's a seemingly strange sort of configuration. The mouth seems to be gone almost, and then there's this sort of odd shape here. And then in this frame here, you really see this strange sort of overall shape to it, and the texture here. And you see this lump here. You see, all together, this doesn't look normal right here, this whole segment of her face. And you can see there's like a shape that sticks out here. Here's that shape a little bit closer, but you kind of have to ask yourself, where's the mouth? You see, in the nose almost looks like it's reduced down. And I know that she's supposed to have black spray paint sprayed right here, but you have to ask yourself, what are these little, what is this shape here, and this pointiness, and where's the mouth? You see how odd that looks? Waving, almost like it's opening up here. There's this big kind of a ravine shape here. It's hard to tell what's going on up here. It seems like there's these strange shapes, but I mean, it's harder to make anything out. But here you can really see that there's like this opening up of the So this shot is out of focus to some degree because of the motion, but here you'll notice the back splits open, and as I put it here, you can see it better, and this is really weird. This is her back. You see, this is where the buttocks should be. Well, that's where it is. That's obviously where the legs are. And here's the shoulders. And you see, even though, remember, she's wearing a leotard, you see this split. And at first I thought maybe it might have something to do with the cabling, because I know that she had a little tie-on plastic add-on that the explosive was put into so that her stomach can blow up when Deckard shoots her through the back or through the stomach. And but if you look at this, there's no reason why all of this is the back. And furthermore, you can't see these little vertebra shapes. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 that I can see. And then there's this other dark shape here. I can't make out really what it is. But you can definitely see that there is a edge here. And you see like a lightning. And that's, I don't know how easy it's going to be to see in the final shot of this. But you can see that it's almost like the flesh is moving aside in that same sort of dripping, opening up fashion, as though it's like rubber that gets melted or peeled aside. Here's zoomed in, and once again, the focus is not going to be that great because it's a motion shot. But you can see enough to see. You see this. I don't know if you can see this discoloration here, this red. And then, I don't know if you can make it out, and it is kind of hard to make out, but there's these shapes here that have a repetitive fashion. And remember, this is the back, where the leotard's supposed to be, a solid one-piece leotard. So I don't know what else would be back here. It doesn't make sense that that's the crotch showing a motion blur of a darkened area, because you can see this area here is basically in focus. It's not really, this isn't a spread, and not only that, you see a definite line right here of whatever this is. I think this right here is some aspect of the shape shifting.
You seeing someone else? Are you?
Or do you think I'm having an affair? How the hell would I have time for an affair?
Okay, and here we see these lumps, and this one down here, you can't see because it's too dark, but this one you can really see. It's like almost looks like a spine piece. Okay, now this is so weird that I almost didn't include it, but after looking at it as many times as I have, I want to show you that there appears to be a ghosting image of a face coming out, and I can see it after a while of looking at it. And even if you brighten it up, it's hard to tell. You really would have to shoot it and look at it yourself, and probably impossible to see on YouTube. But here it is enlarged, and what looks like a face of some kind actually coming out in a ghosting image. And I can't see exactly what it is, but it is weird, and I have no idea what it is is probably someone would say it's a demon coming out, but the head appears to be facing down, and you can see what appears to be eyes. But I mean, I have no idea what that is. I mean, it could be some feature of the reptilian, but I do know that there's something there. It's not just nothing. There's definitely something there. What that is exactly, I have no idea. And could be that the true being is, is a giant reptile. And this is interesting. You can barely see it, so you have to brighten it up. But there's like a bulb there where her wrist is, and you see the claws. It's almost like the true size of the being is showing through, and it like starts to bulge out in that bulb. It's really quite interesting.
How could it not know what it is?
Okay, so here it is close up a bit. Let's see if I can get it without the... And then you get this, see this ball right here? And then you get these definite claw-like shapes. See, here's the wrist. The ball comes out like this, like a bulge. And then the claws, you can see almost like in this area here, it's kind of darker. And then you can see the form of these sharp areas. You see that same thing down here. It's like it's turning into a claw hand. It's a far shot of it.
Is it still the way how you designed it?
More or less. Changed a few things around. Cramped from the tables in the back. She really did an excellent job.
You always working on spotting talent.
You were so smart and nice.
We're stupid and we'll die.
And you should be out working.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Now check this out. From a far shot, you'll notice here that you'll get that bulge in her neck, and this is apparently a reptilian feature. You'll see this bulb sticking out of her neck, and these things sometimes will only show up in a far shot, which of course is grainy. And you'll notice the whole shape of her head in this shot too. It's really kind of strange. In fact, up by her forehead, you'll notice these, it looks like bumps. And here's Obama, just to point out the same thing on him. His neck looks like it has some sort of bulge of some kind. I think this is a physical feature of the serpents, reptiles.